You're listening to Remotely We Are One, a podcast to help inspire others to take their lives back from the office commute. I'm Rick, a passionate beer rep who loves the industry but hates the commute.
And I'm Kaleem, a remote work advocate and consultant. We're going to speak with some of the top professionals who have managed to avoid the commute as they share stories from the most inspiring to the most comical, all while working remotely.
Man, this sounds exciting. Let's clock in. Is it Gonçalo? Is that how you pronounce your name?
I am surprised.
Gonçalo?
Nobody pronounced my name well. Very nice.
Well, I mean, I have met you before. I'm cheating a little bit. I just wanted to make sure. What's your full name?
Gonçalo Miguel de Fonseca Hall.
Nice.
Okay.
Man, that sounds attractive. You could be a
at least
voice person.
You could.
Oh, yeah.
It's a man of mystery.
We can make it sexy.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
so
we are on a roll here.
There's
I love
so
the way
much
this show's
sex.
starting.
See.
There's so much sex to your voice.
Whoa.
I am uncomfortable.
Microphone. I have the sexy voice filter.
Can you just say, I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt.
Oh, yes,
so
I
sexy
can.
it hurts.
You do that pretty well, Rick. How many times have you done that? You've practiced that before. I mean, that was on point. Sir.
Never. I am simply inspired by the sexiness of Gonçalo.
Yes. All right, here we go. We got to get going.
Welcome back, everybody, to Remotely We Are One, a podcast that explores the ins and outs of remote work. I'm Rick, joined by the scholar and gentleman co-host Kaleem. Hey, Kaleem.
I am a scholar. Hello, Rick.
And a gentleman.
Well, yeah, I try to be a gentleman.
I'm excited for this episode. Tell me a little bit about who we're going to be talking with.
I am excited as well, Rick. We've had some awesome guests here. I've enjoyed a conversation with our guest before. At the time, he was in a nice warm spot, and I was jealous at the time. Our guest, he's a digital nomad consultant. So if you want to know how to travel around the world, reach out to our
He's
guest.
your guy.
Exactly. He's the founder of Remote Work Movement, which is a consultancy and a podcast. Check it out. He's currently consulting with Cape Verde in Africa on how to better be remote. I wish I could do that government level job. Let me know if you need some help. They got great wine out there, I heard. He eats tons of meat. And he's really shamed by his vegan colleagues. Like, he eats so much meat that his vegan colleagues won't even hang out with him.
Let's be honest. That's a risk that some people have to take.
I mean,
and
he
it's
sweats
worth
me.
it.
Yes.
You get the late night meat sweats, and nobody feels sorry for him.
And last but not least, he's the co-founder of Remote Europe. And Remote Europe is where you can find the best remote jobs and co-working spaces. Everyone listening, everyone watching, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Gonçalo Hall.
Welcome! Yay!
Hello. Whoa, the public is going wild.
Wild.
Man, we are so excited to have you here. I'm excited to learn from you.
Let's do it. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. And just the talk in the beginning just killed me. I was muted, so I just don't interrupt you, like laughing out loud here.
Oh, I think our pre-show role is going to be a show in and of itself.
Gonçalo is a very entertaining and comical person. Not to put too much pressure on you, sir.
No, I'll give my best. No, I have no expectations about life anymore. So anything that comes is always good. Thank you.
Nice.
Good for you.
Well
Good
done.
for you. Let's start right at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about your background. What was your initial experience with remote work?
So basically 8 years ago, I was working with 4 monitors in front of me in a very non-inspiring job. And I heard about these guys working in Bali with their computer. And I was like, oh, wow, that's something for me. As a background story, I went to 7 schools to complete high school. I went to 3 universities and I never completed each. I have 3 half degrees now, which are not useful at all. And basically all that, I was always a nomad. I was always interested when I was traveling. Oh, I'm very interested to know how it is to live here. I was never traveling to understand and to see places. I was always interested in understanding how is life here. So when I saw these guys traveling with a laptop and working 8 years ago, I was like, damn, that's for me. So I just educated myself about it. And I think I over-educated myself because by the time I was starting to work remotely, I knew more about remote work than I should. And I knew more about the whole mission. And right now, remote work is more a mission, it's more a tool to complete a mission. So yeah, 8 years ago until now, long way. And I had to change careers to come to start working remotely, which is something very interesting. And then I did it. And I did what any digital nomad that is called that name for some reason will do, which is I bought my ticket to Bali.
Fantastic. You said you went to 7 different schools and you have a bunch of experience education-wise. What about some of the skills that you picked up along the way? Did you find that some were more useful with remote work than others? I mean, what propelled you to succeed?
I think it's a lot about self-management. The one thing that people don't understand is that remote work is not the same as office. In the office, you have somebody looking after your shoulder. Remote work, it's you by yourself and you need to do the work. It's not about watching Netflix. It's you are there, you are responsible, you have the ownership to do the work. And when you have the ownership, things are different. Usually people like to have ownership. They don't like to be very micromanaged. And this is the one skill. So I became an entrepreneur after being a full-time employee. I was not a very good full-time employee, to be fair, but I always had that self-starting. I always had that ownership status and always trying to start and make the companies where I was better with different ideas. I just suck at being an employee, so I had to leave that way of life.
Sounds like we have a lot in common.
Yeah, there's just something to be said when somebody tells you, could you, I don't go do it this way. And you're like, well, can you tell me why? And they're like, I just prefer you do it this way. I'm going to need a why, and I'm going to need a really good why. Gonçalo, you said something very briefly that I would love to kind of go back to, because I feel like a lot of listeners in this pivotal stage of trying to decide, okay, do I want to do this work flexibility thing full-time forever? And I think that's kind of like where Rick's mind's at right now too. He's in that hybrid space and he enjoys it, and he's actually working remotely a lot of the time as well. You mentioned you had to change careers a little bit. Can you talk about just really the struggle? Because I feel like today there's just a lot of fear. Should I really do this? So could you talk about what were some of the things that led to that decision to change that career and to move on?
For me, becoming a digital nomad and a remote worker was the most important thing. At 26, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was in my 3rd half degree and I was completely lost. I actually found later what I was good at, but I was working in sports data for sport betting companies and I was just doing it for the money. There was good money. Then I went to Germany. There was still very good money. And
did you say you're going to take the Packers this weekend, given 7 points?
Here we go.
7 points? I don't know. What's happening?
Did you? Oh, I thought you said you worked for sports betting.
Yes.
Thing.
Oh, yeah. But you have to understand, I'm Portuguese. 7 points. There's nothing we do in any sport in Portugal. So I'm not sure what sport are you talking about.
Wow. Okay. That's right. That's right. Okay. Living in the betting world, huh?
Oh yes, I was, and I was responsible for the scouts that are in the football matches live, and I was like watching 7 games at a time. It was very fun, and I got a good salary to watch sports, which is not something a lot of people could say. But I did 30 years old. I had a super stable life in Germany. I had a good job. I was in the German dream with a good salary, thinking about family and stuff. But the 30 was like a punch in the stomach. So when I did 30, it was like, do I really want this life? Or do I really want this stability? Or do I want to live to my full potential and live the dream I have for so long? And the answer was clear. So I started educating myself into marketing. I got, after 5 months I had to move to Poland, which nobody does. It's like you move from US to Mexico, basically, and you think to get a new job in Mexico, that's not something you do. All my German friends were going crazy, but I did it. I had to give a step back to start entering the marketing world, and then I was able to get the job through the marketing world. But I had to learn, and I had to give a step back in my career to then be free. And I'm happy to do it completely.
So you discovered marketing along the way, is what you're hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found I was good at it when I was in Isaac. Isaac is like a world student association. And they have one thing called the leadership tournament. And basically solve problems for companies, like increase on the money coming in, marketing challenges. And I was just natural at it. I saw everybody around me struggling and I was not understanding because it was so easy. And I just found I was very good with business and marketing and promotion. And for me, it was natural. And it took me some time to embrace it. But yeah, if you are natural at something, it's much easier than learn how to code if you don't have the right personality.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so inspiring. It kind of leads me into my next question, but I'm not going to quite go there yet. I'm very much in a similar boat, but I'm discovering remote work as I'm in my mid-40s now. So I feel like I'm a little late to the punch. I'm not attached to my career. Well, it's not, whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. It's just sometimes that's how I feel. And I feel like I'm kind of limited in my options, but then I have to remind myself of the host of experiences that I've had. I've done pretty much everything, and I'm no stranger to internet marketing. So hearing you say what you're saying about just diving in and learning as you go tells a guy like me who has never really gone this way full time that there is absolutely hope and that I can do it, which is an amazing feeling.
Let me tell you a story on actually how it happened, because it's even, I think it will give you a little bit more inspiration. So I was working at an email marketing company as account manager. I was learning everything about email marketing because I was dealing with big accounts, more than 100K subscribers into emails. I started having some freelancing gigs, 300 euros here, 300 euros there. And once I did 1,000 euros, I quit my job and I bought my ticket to Bali. Nothing. I was going to fail miserably, but I had my ticket to Bali. I don't care. I'm quitting. I'm going to Bali. I'm embracing this lifestyle and try to do it as a freelancer. As 2 weeks after I quit my job, I was still there. I have to give 1 month notice. So I was still in the company. A company from another city in Poland contacts me. I just send a short message. If you want somebody that will kick ass your marketing and will just roll with it and embrace it, just send me a message. I'll go there tomorrow. And the guys answered me and I went there in the day after. So I went to this new company that wanted to hire me. It was for head of marketing position. I had zero experience except account manager. But I went there and I did what I do, which I talked through it. And in the end, they said, in the marketing position, it needed to be inside the office. I was like, nope, I have my ticket to Bali, sorry. But the head of sales position can be done remotely. Do you want to take it? I was like, fuck yes. So I took the position as head of sales. No, in the industry, I knew nothing about. It was industry, working with the industry and tracking systems. I knew nothing about it. I just wanted the salary in the end of the month. 2 weeks after that, I was in Warsaw in my first month in that company. And the guy, very known in the remote space, came to Warsaw, which is his city. And I just sent him an email. Dude, I see you are in Warsaw. I'm here as well. I love what you are doing in the remote work arena. Can we go for a coffee? And we went for a coffee. And that coffee, he ended up hiring me for a sales position in that company, which was completely remote and pushing other companies to be remote through education. And suddenly I'm in the middle of the remote space, the space I was studying for 7 years, just because I jumped in the first time when I had no security and no job, just a freelancer, a very shady freelancing career. And just because I jumped, everything started to happen. If I would never jump, I would never have everything else happen to me.
Wow. So something that I'm hearing from you, and I think what we're hearing in a common thread from our guest, Rick, is you have to be willing to take a chance.
Leap before you look.
You have to
the wings in the way down.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, we've just been so used to that check coming in either every other week or every week or once a month that you just get so comfortable and you forget how risky just even going to your daily job is. And multiple times we've heard, I just took a leap of faith. The other thing I heard Gonçalo talk about is you had priorities. You set what was important to you, and being a digital nomad was very important to you. So therefore, because you knew what you wanted, and I think for a lot of people, this is the difficult part. And we've talked about this before, coming up with what is the most important thing to you? And to you, it was being a digital nomad at that time. So you didn't care to take a marketing job, or you even said you took a step backwards because you were already in a comfortable situation. So do you feel like that's somewhat accurate, or?
100%. I gave a step back, then I gave 3 steps back, and then suddenly I had a new career in a new position, and I was working from Bali.
That's really cool, man.
That's
cool.
Absolutely fascinating.
I do have a question about digital nomadism. For people who are listening who may not know what we're talking about, how would you describe digital nomads, Gonçalo? People who...
A remote worker that travels for a sustainable period of time.
Yeah. So now that the whole globe has experienced remote work, there's a lot of variations of different types of remote work. You know, you have hybrid remote, you have all these different variations now. The same that kind of along the lines of digital nomadism or digital nomads and traveling while working. There are a lot of different variations. Before, digital nomad was, let me take a picture from the beach in Bali. Damn you, Gonçalo, you did the literal picture of every stock photo. You lived it. I'm so jealous and envious. Every dumb stock photo you see of remote work is a laptop in Bali, and I am so jealous that I haven't had that opportunity. So anyway, I just want to get an idea from you as somebody who has been a digital nomad for a long period of time. What are you seeing differently in that digital nomad space? Because now there must be different variations of digital nomadism.
Yeah. The first thing we see is that the whole community changed. While before we had less than 10% remote workers and we made fun of them, and I was one of the victims, because all the others were freelancers and entrepreneurs that could work anytime, anywhere, and they don't care. So they had the freedom by default. Remote workers were the exception. And now, and in Madeira, that happened. Suddenly we have more than 50% remote workers in the community, people with full-time jobs for normal companies, small, big, doesn't matter, from massive corporations to small companies and startups, but they are full-time employees. This changes everything because you need to work, you need to do your hours, which a freelancer can do or not. So that was the first change we see. And inside the community, I divided in maybe 3 sub-communities at least. I kind of try to lead one of them. And the first one is just party hard. So several communities in Spain, for example, like Valencia, I was there for a while. They are more into work and party and work. And that's okay. It's just not my lifestyle. I'm getting old and fat and I have way too much work to party that much. I would be struggling for 1 week. And then we have a second community, which is the mindful nomads. And we see more and more of this. So more people like, for example, in Ubud, in Bali, people that are more connected with yoga, with meditation, that are more self-aware. This is a second community. And then my community is the third community, which is a mix. So for example, what we are building in Madeira is a community that is very connected with the local community, that does local impact projects, that we are partners with Nomads Giving Back from Tarek, and we try to have a positive local impact. So you see Nomads having deep conversations about how to have a better impact in Madeira. And you see, for example, skill shares happening every day and people networking, people finding jobs for the others. So it's much more a deep connection community. And this is where I love to be. So I love to be in Canggu, Bali, like you mentioned, but I also love to be in other places that have a very strong sense of community, where I cannot just meet people, but where I can create friendships with people. And being a nomad can be very lonely if you don't embrace these kind of relationships. So my kind of community is a community that if you are there for 2 months, you will live with 20 friends. And this is happening. I have people in Berlin that are traveling together from Madeira community. I have people in Warsaw. People are coming now to Cape Verde because I'm here, and they made strong friendships, which is something that is very rare to do. So my work with the governments is to create these deep relationship communities that you can rarely find anywhere else.
Fantastic, man. So what advice would you give to a guy like me or anybody who loves their current industry, but they just want more flexibility in their life?
Change. Leap, jump, go.
Change
basically
careers?
It's that. You are in marketing, man. You have so much experience in marketing, and maybe you need to do a revamp and maybe do just an online course to relearn some new tools. You have the knowledge, you have the conversation, you understand what is marketing. A lot of people don't. So maybe you just need to relearn the new tools, because marketing is the same, just the tools are changing all the time. As long as you keep updated with the tools, it will be 10 times easier. And we see big companies and big tech companies now going for people with more than 40 years because they have different responsibility, because they understand better the market, because they have the experience which young founders don't have. So one of these companies is Yak, like shout out for them, because they are hiring guys that are in the market for a long time, and they are just embracing it and going for the experts that are plus 40, and it's really working for them. So as long as you have the hard skills, you have the knowledge, you have the experience. You just need to update the soft skills and jump.
You hear that, everyone?
Great.
Take the chance, take the risk. Because at the end of the day,
so simple.
If you don't take this risk, you're just going to wind up not happy. You're going to still be working for a company that's working on outdated policies, procedures, views, and thoughts. And if you want any type of progression, you kind of have to make that leap, you should say. I do have another question in regards to the nomad community. So when you were breaking down kind of the percentage of the community, you were talking about digital nomads. So there was a small percentage of digital nomads who are remote workers, and mostly were freelancers in the beginning. And then now there's a ton of remote workers in that digital nomad space. What are you noticing as far as, so you kind of split that community up in between the party crew, which I want to try 7 days. I want to try it. I want to see if I can stay up 7 days straight in Spain.
See if I still got it.
And everyone needs a journey. Everyone needs a journey every few years. But you're right. Yeah. We are getting older. I'm definitely getting fatter. So I don't know if I could live there forever. But so you have the party crew, and then the wellness group, which I have a bunch of colleagues who are in that space. And that's a pretty grown community as far as the yogis and meditation and stuff, traveling to different places in the country and work. And that's really big. And then, of course, you're just talking about the tight-knit communities. I'm wondering if you're seeing a change in length of times and stays. Are you seeing any shift in the length of time, or was it just that the perception of digital nomad has just always been kind of incorrect, and most people do kind of stick around for a longer time? In my mind, I always associated digital nomads with going to a new place every week or every couple of weeks.
No. So I think you go through a journey as a digital nomad. You start trying to see everything, and you go really fast, and you are 1 week, like you mentioned, in each place, and that doesn't work. And then you go to the second stage. You understand, well, I cannot work like this. It's impossible. And so you go to the second stage, which is usually 1 month. And 1 month is decent. It's 4 weeks. But you take 1 week to adapt, to get to know where the hell are you going to shopping? Where the hell are you going for a gym? How do you keep healthy? Where are you working from? What are the good spots? You start to make relationships, and then you are gone. So 1 month usually lasts for 6 months, depending on like if you are traveling far away from home. Imagine you go to Asia and you are there for 9 months. Maybe you experience 1 month so you can get to know different communities. After 1 or 2 years, you start to understand that's also too fast, and that doesn't work. So you start to go for the 2 to 3 month period, which is the normal right now, and it's the average. So 2 to 3 months allows you to get to know the local, get accommodated, get the gym, get healthy, get deep relationships, and then move to a new place and do everything over again. So we are seeing a lot of people in the sustainable lifestyle, 2 to 3 months. After some years, like when you go to the 3 to 4 year mark, you start to get a little bit tired, and you understand the places that you love the most. For me, it's beach, islands. I tend to stay in islands all the time. I don't know why. Places with CrossFit and beach volleyball, which are my two main activities for keeping myself healthy. And with that, I reduce the world to maybe 3% of what is out there. So, babe,
I'm on your team. I like beach, and I don't know about CrossFit, but you know what I mean? Like, I do like to move a little bit, maybe not too much, but just a little.
Yeah.
So with that, you can choose the best places for you, and that's the best. So right now, I'm creating basically some bases, like in Madeira, one of my favorite places in the world. I'm thinking about creating a base in Las Palmas in the Canary Islands in Spain, which is another of my favorite places in the world, because are the places that tick all my boxes. But maybe someone boxes are maybe Rick wants something completely different. Maybe wants somebody to be surrounded by crypto people, and maybe then Lisbon is the best place to be, or Miami is the best place to be. So it depends on what you're looking for. Once you find it, you'll stay longer, and like 6 months, 7 months in one place, and then travel for the other 5 months.
Wow. So in that realm, tell us more about remote Europe.
So remote Europe is started. Well, you guys are in the US, so I'm not sure how much I should tell you about it.
Yes,
Okay,
this is a global show, sir. This is a global show.
Okay. But you guys, so let me answer what happened, because remote Europe only happens because of the Americans, and that's the biggest reason. So when I was looking for remote jobs some years ago, almost all the jobs in the end, in very small letters, had the following: US only, and that pissed me off, sir. So I fight it back, and I said, okay, you want US only? I will create European only, and remote Europe as well.
There it is. How's that going? And we've heard a lot of people that are very frustrated by this, because the international crowd is a lot more mobile, a lot more agile. You're used to going to different countries in comparison to some of us going to different states. And we've heard that before. A lot of people like, we'd get all excited. We find this board and every job on there would say US only. And I totally get it. What a great idea on your part. And how's it going? Are people excited about it, and are there a good amount of postings, and what type of services do you offer specifically outside of just job postings? Is there anything else?
So right now we are focusing on job posting, but I also think that the way job boards work is stupid. So I'm also trying to fight back. So here's what I'm doing. Actually, we are launching very soon this, and when you speak, it will be already out probably. So I say it's stupid to pay per post. I think it's stupid. You pay $300 per one job post. Why? So I'm testing now a new way of doing job boards, which I will screw with all the others because they will hate me forever. But hey, I love you guys. So now I have a job board per subscription. So you can pay an annual fee. And if you post a lot of jobs, imagine it's like 1.2 thousand euros, the basic, and you can post more than 100 jobs. So basically it's 12 euros per job post instead of 300. And I think most of the other job boards will hate me forever, but basically I will give you access to a community. I will help you, and we will take care of you as one of the hours instead of just treating you as a wallet. So we want to help remote companies to go further. I am a remote work consultant. So we are like, for example, I'm now interviewing HR managers to showcase their culture because everybody's struggling to hire. So I'm interviewing them so they can showcase their culture and teach people in our YouTube show how they should actually apply for remote jobs. Rick, you should check it because it may be important for the future. But basically we have these HR managers from remote companies telling all the secrets from how to apply and how to enter. And these are our clients, and these are our subscription clients that have access to this kind of cool things. So I'm trying to disrupt the whole job part, which the other guys will hate me forever, but life is not easy.
No, that's for sure. So tell us about a comical or inspiring story that resonated with you in your journey of remote work.
I will continue the story we're talking about. So we mentioned the story on how I went into remote work.
Okay.
We went into how I left a well-paying job and I've left to Bali, but I was always an employee. And I mentioned here, I am the worst employee in the world. Let's just take that as a fact. There is nobody.
What makes you the worst employee in the world? What?
I don't want to work. I want to create. Or you give me like a CEO role. I don't want to work. I want to create, and I need people to work for me.
Yeah, that's straight on.
It's just hard.
It's just hard to do pen to paper. Some people just that's not their thing. Some people love it. Some people don't.
If I'm not creating, I'm miserable. I have to be creating. Yeah.
Not sure. I know you guys do this doing school, but we don't do it in Europe. So one of the things that completely changed my life, even before the story, was the Myers-Briggs test. I think you heard about it. It's like the 16 personalities test that you can do. It's free online. For most people, that's fine. And they read it once. That's accurate. Cool. That changed my life. So I changed my whole life because of that. I understood who I am. It was the first time I felt, okay, I'm not the only one in the world who is really bad at jobs and only wants to create companies every single day that is waking up. And there is more people like me. So I adjusted my whole life to that result. As a result of that, I decided to quit my job in this wonderful remote company because things were not working out. Again, I'm the worst employee. It's not their fault, completely my fault. I'm just a bad employee and I wanted to create.
I love
this. I quit / was fired. I don't know, but we all agree that it's better for me to leave the
mutual
company.
Separation.
Yes. I like that. I like quit / being fired. I concur with that.
We had a nice divorce, and I decided to launch myself alone. Consulting, I knew a lot about remote work, so I decided to launch remote work movements. Cool fact is, as soon as I start launching, first I have a completely meltdown. I was in Vietnam. I was not able to sleep. I was trying to become an entrepreneur and seeing my bank account going lower, lower, lower. And then I was traveling to Budapest to speak at a conference, my first paid conference. Like, come on, let's go. And they paid me the ticket to go from Vietnam to Budapest. But the guys bought me a ticket through China. And it looks like China doesn't like people passing by. So they didn't allow me to enter the airplane without a visa for China. I was like, I don't want to go to China, guys. I want to go to Budapest. I have no interest in China. I want to go to Budapest. Just these guys bought me a ticket that is through China. No, you cannot go. You cannot go. So I got stuck in Vietnam with my bank account on the line. And I had to spend the money buying 2 tickets because I was with my girlfriend. So I had to buy 2 tickets back to Budapest, a lot of money, sleep in airports and stuff, which is okay. I got used to that. But my bank account got really, really bad at that time. So I went to Budapest. It was really fun. I had some days there. Then I went to Lisbon, where my family is. And I was there. Okay, now let's start the business. And it went bad. I made no money for 3 months. I was like, we still speak about it. We were eating, we had like big bag of cookies for €1 here. So our lunch was cookies because that was the cheapest thing we could afford, and sausages, which is also like 60 cents. And we were like this for 2 to 3 months. It was madness. And we're just struggling. I was doing deals with co-working spaces to work from there because my family don't have internet at home. They're not very mobile. And we were just trying to survive through it. And I was creating my new business. Katarina was also trying to create her own business. And we lost all the savings we had. We lost them completely with that trip to Budapest. Like, it was like stripped. I was like, oh, this is fun. So basically, I was in my city. At least I had a home. I was sleeping in the couch of my mother because she only has a 1-bedroom house. And we were just trying to build a company from scratch with no experience. Lots of sleepless nights, not because I was working, but because my mind doesn't stop. And being in a stress position without money, like my family pressuring, go work somewhere, get your life straight, dude. Come on, we're old enough.
Yeah, you just quit your good job. Go find your good job again. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I was there like that for like 3 months in Lisbon. I went to Web Summit, the biggest conference, as a volunteer, and I was having meetings with huge people like CEOs. Like, I took my volunteer T-shirt and I put a normal T-shirt because I was in the VIP room as a volunteer. So by like at 5, I took my volunteer T-shirt, put my normal T-shirt to meet like with guys like CEOs of companies that are in my world. I was already known in this remote space, and I was working as a volunteer just to meet everyone and get more opportunities. And it was hard, man. Like 3 months completely bankrupt, living from my mother fridge sometimes and saying, no, it's okay, I'll pay you next week. And we'll try to pay next week. But suddenly things started to work out. So I got my 2 first clients for consulting. But so like completely, they don't know, but they saved my life completely. And then COVID hit and I started to create companies. Everything started to make money. And then out of nowhere, I was working for governments. I don't even know how it happened. And it was just keep pushing it every day. I was going to the co-working space, completely broke, no food, good for fasting. I was not fat back then, so it was good. And I just made through it with work and believing that this is the right thing. I never for once thought about getting a job. I knew I would fail at jobs. So I was just keep pushing. This has to work somewhere. Somebody has to believe me.
Perseverance. What a great story, man. What a
That is such an inspirational tale. Well, I want to end it on that note because I am so inspired. I'm fired up right now, man.
I'm fired up too. I do have one last question on that story. Sorry, Rick.
That's okay.
Important. Did you pay your mom's back for the food you took in the fridge, man?
Yeah, it's even a longer story. Like, my mother got sick. She went to the hospital in the middle of COVID. It got worse before it got better. But at least I had money and I bought her cell phone. She was in the hospital without a cell phone. Their cell phone broke.
So you took care of it. You took care of it. So the story was real bad. You was on the couch. Now things work better. Perseverance, everyone. You have to keep pushing through.
For entrepreneurship specifically, that's the only way to go. At least 6 months that you have to push and not sleep, and your mind will rock, and you think this is stupid, I should just get a job at McDonald's or something. And then suddenly somebody believes because you appear every day, you are there. I was talking in all the conferences. I was showing my knowledge. I was giving free workshops. And after some time, some companies, okay, this was still before COVID, we'll pay you to change our company culture. We want to be remote. And 2 companies from Portugal actually saved my life. They don't know that, but that's how everything started. Consulting started to skyrocket. Then COVID, I was working 16 hours a day during the first wave of COVID, helping companies. And then we are good.
Remote work saved his life? Brother. We can't even script this shit. We can't even script it. Holy hot damn. Oh, hot damn. What a story, Gonçalo.
Gonçalo Hall, thank you so much. What an inspiration you are. Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was amazing.
Yes. Where can we find you online? Where can our listeners find you?
LinkedIn is the place to go. It's the only place where I still answer people. Sometimes I tweet, but that's not very good every day. But LinkedIn is the one place where I am, and I show who I am, and I show my work.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, man. This was awesome.
Awesome episode. Yes.
Yeah. Good story, bro. Good story.
We'll have to keep in touch.
Always. You know where to find it.
Fantastic. You've been listening to the Remotely We Are One podcast. Visit us at remotely1.com/podcast for upcoming episodes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and download our episodes on your favorite podcast app.
Hey, don't forget to clock out.